There it is. That's what I was looking for. As well. Kai, thanks for joining us. I'll go to a different brush because this one's just not cutting it. Honestly, a lot of these probably won't because they're so old and worn in. We're finishing up Miles. That sound. The bristles had to literally be torn apart on that one. That one made my teeth clench a little. So we're finishing up Miles Morales. And then we are going to move on to Tony Stark. How is everybody's weekend so far? We're going to do numbering and sanding and everything like that for some dice that we have being made right now. We just got to let them cure, finish curing. That probably won't be until later on tonight. I think I did that around 7 this morning because the dice for the commission that we are working on did not cure properly, so we had to go back through and redo them. And then we made the decision that because this is a local supporter and they're not doing any shipping or anything like that, we're going to toss in a free dice tray for them as well that matches their commission. So this is something that they, unless they're watching right now.
Eddie, what are you doing?
I'm going live. You gotta go, bud. You know the rule. Go to mommy.
I don't know.
You do know.
I think I know it.
Yep. You gotta go, bud. But as I was saying, they don't even, unless they're watching this right now, they do not know they're getting a free dice tray as well. But we also have demolded our second skull of creativity. So we call it that because this can be used as a brush holder, a water bowl. It can be used as a dice shaker. It can be used as a dice holder. It can be used as a pencil holder. Whatever you are using for creativity or whatnot, you can use this for it. Now, I haven't checked the size to see if it's eligible for any form of a D&D monster. I haven't checked to see how many squares it would actually take up. But based on the size, it's at least gargantuan. But we are going to finish up Miles, and then we are going to work on Iron Man. I'm just taking a little bit of this rough iron. What am I doing? I am painting up Miles Morales. I'm just putting a little bit of rust on top of this so that we can give it a nice little color so it's not just silver like the rest of a lot of our stuff. I scoured the internet and I don't think anybody could tell what this actually was because everybody painted it differently. Like I've seen this being red, I've seen this being blue, I've seen it being green. Nobody could tell me what it actually was either. So if you're a New Yorker and you know what this is that he is standing on, I would gladly like to know because nobody can tell me what that is. It's some sort of metallic thing. At first, I thought it was a subway awning. That's what I thought it was. But then I'm looking at it, I'm like, no, that's too thin to be a subway awning. Yes, really. Well, see, that's what I thought at first, but then I'm looking at all the other figures that do have like rocks and everything around them. They all have openings if it is an opening. So with that not having an opening for like at the subway, it threw me off. But then we're just showing off what we're working on as well. We have the Skull of Creativity. This was our first batch. And then this was the second one. This one was purely mica powder, dusted on the inside. And then we got it going. What I like about this one is it kind of gives a Order of the Phoenix Death Eater mask vibe. And even though I'm a Gryffindor, obviously, I mean, a lot of whenever I've taken the tests have came out pretty much showing that I tend to go dark. I mean, even on my playthrough, the first time of Legacy, I told myself, I'm not going to go dark. I'm not going to go dark. I'm not going to use any of the dark curses. Immediately, as soon as I got the Killing Curse, I started using it. I'm like, yeah, I broke that rule almost immediately. I'm excited for the second one. I don't know what it has in stores. Who's your favorite Marvel character? My favorite Marvel character. Ooh. Oh, that's a tough one. So, if we're going characters that have appeared in the MCU so far, I would have to give it to either Tony Stark, Bucky, specifically White Wolf Bucky. I like how they did that transition into him. Instead of making it T'Challa's half brother. And then I would have to say Ant-Man. Those are my top three in the MCU. Now, in all of Marvel, my favorite character has got to be I like Norman Osborn's mythos. It's the same reason why I like I forget his actual name. I want to say it's Wu, Henry Wu, which is Mr. Negative. I like his mythos as well. Man, thank you for joining us. But for going purely the comics, I have to give it to A-Bomb. That has to be one of my favorite ones. I like Thaddeus Ross as a Hulk, but A-Bomb, just the fact of how he came to be, and it wasn't a traditional Hulk experience for him. It opens up a lot of avenues. But here we have Miles Morales, fully painted up. Cosmic Ghost Rider is a good one. The only reason why I really like Cosmic Ghost Rider, and this is going to sound dark, and those that know about Cosmic Ghost Rider will know exactly what I'm talking about. His original mission. That's all I'm going to say. If I say any more, I might get banned. But his original mission is what makes him a good hero and a good villain. I do gotta get that out for later because I do want to do some more of that. What's up, Circus? So we are gonna make this later tonight. I just haven't decided on when. We have. I'm gonna set that right there for now. Demolded. The one that we did last night, Circus. We demolded our first dice tray. Like I said, this one I'm not a fan of just because of how everything did. Like, I'm running my finger over that, and I'm pulling mica powder off. Like, that didn't cure it properly at all. And then we have the casket. And it happens with because these were both new molds. This and this were both new molds. So just me learning about how they actually work in tandem with each other or with themselves really is a learning process. I'm just upset that what I originally had planned did not stick because the black overran it. You can kind of see it right there where it kind of like pulled. But I was hoping that it was actually going to like stick to it and make that look like it was trailing down. But it didn't. It happens. But I have verified that this does hold a full set of dice. My favorite Spider-Man variant. Oof. You're throwing all the curveballs at me. I got to give respect to Ben Reilly because he's the first. Petra Petir is... I like Petra because he is a good he is the perfect way that you do a race or gender bent swapped character. You don't just put them in the same place and then say, "Oh, they're just a variant." Like a perfect example that I'll use is the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, Dr. Connors. I don't think that that's a good way to gender swap and race swap somebody. Same thing with the Norman Osborn. Norman Osborn, I can kind of get behind with it just because of how they did it. It's still the same mythos of Norman Osborn. But with Clara Connors, they completely changed her motives, everything like that. But with Petra Patir, they did it perfectly. They put him in New Delhi. They put him in his own, like they didn't give him, oh, Uncle Ben or Aunt May. They gave him his own family. They gave him his own life. Same thing with Hobie Brown. Hobie Brown, that's another perfect way to do it. They didn't just take him and say, oh, we got a black punk Spider-Man living in New York. No, we put him in the UK in the 60s where he needs to be because that will be more symbolic. So like I said, Petra Patir is a good one. I forget her Drew. I forget her first name, but Drew is her last name. Love that variant of it. I love what they did with it in Into the Spider or Across the Spider-Verse, where they actually made her pregnant in it. That was a nice little touch. Mayday Parker, you got to give it a Mayday. If you are not sitting there rocking a Mayday Parker shirt, knowing the symbolism that that character has between not only Mary Jane Watson and Peter Parker, you can't really call yourself a fan then, in my book, because you're sitting there and I'm not going to say that you're faking being a fan because you're definitely still a fan. But you're taking the best of both characters. The attitude of Mary Jane Watson, the quippiness and abilities of Peter Parker, and you're putting them in one character. Even though she's a toddler, I think that the last we saw of Mayday, even in the comics, might have been when she was like 5. I think that's the latest they've shown her. And she was just going off on some bullies. And it was hilarious. So, I mean, yeah, Mayday Parker is a good one for me. Trying to think of who else. Except Ben Reilly, aka the Scarlet Spider. The cultural impact that Miles Morales had, I'll give that to him. Not only is it just how he did it, suit-wise, okay. So that opens up a whole nother ballgame. I'll be completely honest, because you got the Future Foundation suit, which is just so sleek, so perfect. But then you have Secret Wars 1988, whenever Venom is first introduced, before he is even known as Venom, with the pure black suit. That is also a good one. But then you have the Raimi suit with the silver. So you're opening up so many doors right there that it just opens up too many variables. Miguel O'Hara's original suit was perfect. The black webbing, the blue suit, the red eyes, the skull on his chest, perfect. And then they did the Future Foundation 2099, where it's that, but it's white and black. If I remember correctly, Miguel saw a former comic of Spider-Man, or not comic, but like former news article of Spider-Man. Amy, thank you for joining us. And when you saw that former article, what ended up happening was, am I making this too dark? We'll see. If anything, I can go back over with pure red. Robbie, thank you for joining us. What I enjoyed about the 2099 Future Foundation was it's just Miguel sees an article of Peter Parker wearing the Future Foundation suit and says, yeah, that's now mine. And then goes ahead and makes his own. Now, one of my least favorite versions, I'm going to get a lot of hate for this because it's actually my main and rivals, Penny Parker. I am not a fan of Penny Parker. The Mark III Spider Armor, oh, that is so amazing. And like, it's nothing against her character itself. It's just, I guess it's how her powers work is the reason I don't like her. I don't like the fact that we're calling her a spider person when she never got the bite. So that's what really throws it off. Oh, her background is horribly dark, and I expected that just because it's based off an anime. But, and I keep looking back because I got Iron Man sitting down here. I'm trying to copy his exact color scheme on it here just so I know which border is which. And I'm not going to sit there and say that it's not dark. It's not what was needed because it was needed. Her backstory needed to be dark. Otherwise, based off of where she was, it would not have worked. But I think it's more so the fact that, like I said, to me, it's the fact that she didn't get bit that throws it off for me. Kind of the same sense with Spider Noir, where he didn't get bit either in his universe, but somehow has the powers just because he's quote unquote related to Peter, even though he's not. When it's a completely separate universe. And yes, that was their legitimate reasoning for giving him powers. Originally was, oh, he's related to Peter. No, he's not. Oh, are you talking about Man Spider? Yeah, so I don't even consider that a variant. That's a variant of Spider-Man. That's more of a variant of Peter Parker. It's similar to the Gwen Stacy universe where Peter becomes the lizard when he takes the serum that he and Dr. Connors created. So that's how I see that. Granted, it's still a great storyline. Bees do good. Thank you for joining us. I just want them to stop delaying, and I get the reason why they are. However, here's what they need to do. They either need to fire Shameik Moore and recast him, or they need to just come out and say, yeah, we're not making the third Spider-Man movie. The fact that it was delayed, it was supposed to come out in 2023, was delayed to 2024, was delayed till 2025, and then we just got an announcement, Beyond the Spider-Verse. Beyond the Spider-Verse has been delayed to 2029. Yep, all because of the at this point I can't even call them allegations because he's outright admitted to them. All because of the incident regarding Shameik Moore, who voices Miles Morales. Yep, and Beyond the Spider-Verse was going to be part 2. But at this point, they either need to get rid of Shameik, and don't get me wrong, he's a great actor. But if you're going to let that hold you guys back from finishing the trilogy that you guys have promised the fans, then that needs to be worked out on the legal side. I'm tired of movies and TV shows just going the wayside the moment that somebody decides to. And I'm not going to say say or do something that they shouldn't do. I'm just going to say I'm tired of movies going on the wayside after being left on a cliffhanger. One of my favorite movies of all time is The Dark Crystal. Now, it's a very unknown movie. Not a lot of people know about it. So it is a Jim Henson movie, similar to like The Muppets or The Labyrinth, where unlike Labyrinth, every bit of the characters are indeed puppets. Essentially, this is the lore. So, on this planet called Thra, there was a crystal. This crystal was the life source of the planet. And these beings came down. They told the person that's guarding it, hey, you go watch this. And talk about the stars. Like, they literally came to this planet from a different planet. Said, hey, you go watch the planets for a little bit. We're going to watch it for you. Well, they couldn't agree with each other on how it needs to be watched. Either kept to themselves or allow everybody to watch it. Even internally, one person could be sitting there thinking, you know, we need to share this, and then another one needs, they did, and that's what I'm getting to. And another needs to share it with the world, or the other, or you need to keep it to yourself. So the beings actually split into two different beings, the Urus, which are also known as the Mystics, and the Skeksis. The Skeksis wanted to keep the crystal to themselves because they realized it actually gave them eternal life. The Urus didn't care about it. They went off, they did their own thing. As long as Thra was thriving, that is all they cared about. Millennia go by. And the Skeksis have ruled for the entire time. They rule over the crystal. The crystal's dying. Thra is dying. A prophecy was made about what would stop the Skeksis from ruling forever, which is called a Gelfling. It's pretty much an elf. Easiest way I can say that. So, in the past, the Skeksis sent out creatures to eliminate all of the Gelflings. And for hundreds of years, they thought they did. Well, that is when our protagonist is revealed to be a Gelfling. In traditional Jim Henson style, he goes on a quest to find the shard that broke off the Dark Crystal, put it back in, and save the day. That's the whole pretty much plot of the Dark Crystal. There's more to it about what the Skeksis are doing with the actual sentient beings on Thra, because of the crystal losing its power. I highly recommend it. It's such a great movie. But yes, they made a sequel to it, or a prequel to it, for Netflix called The Dark Crystal: Age of Resistance. It's a really good TV show. It's only 10 episodes. It ends on a cliffhanger. You literally see one of the characters have a vision of going dark and going evil and torturing herself. And this is the most pure-hearted character that you've ever seen. Like, think of any character that you, in the back of your mind, that is compassionate, kind, caring, loving to all. This character beats them. Deet is the embodiment of walking up to a literal murderer who you watched murder someone, going, "Hi, I'm Deet," just because you want to be friends with them. But it literally ends. And it's been out for years. So, I mean, if you haven't watched it by now, you probably aren't going to watch it. It literally ends like this. The first battle of the Skeksis versus the Gelflings happens. And Deet unleashes a power that nobody's ever seen before. And it causes her to go completely evil. So, right before she does this, though, she reveals to the main character who witnessed his fiance die in front of him and be absorbed by the Skeksis because she was fed to the Dark Crystal to keep them eternally alive. She looks at him and goes, "Hey, by the way, you've been with me this entire time. I think I love you." And he goes, "Oh yeah, I love you too. More than just a friend. I actually think that we would be a great couple." She goes, "Me too." And then unleashes that power and then walks off. Never seen again. And then it just ends. 2, 3, 4 months go by. Everyone's sitting there asking in the forums, "Where's season 2? What's the update on it? What's going on?" A year goes by. Still no update. Year 2 comes by. We're like, okay, this is Jim Henson. It takes a while for production. We get it. It's Netflix. It still takes a long time. We finally get an update. Due to legal reasons, Jim Henson Company has removed themselves from Netflix entirely. There will be no season 2. I threw my remote at the TV the moment I saw that. People started to actually send threats to the Jim Henson Company over that. Oh, I was getting into that. I do watch anime. I'm more in a shonen. Pretty much your basic weeb stuff. Naruto, Fairy Tail, MHA. Um, but yeah, essentially, what the Jim Henson Company's response when people were sending them threats was this: "Hey, look, we didn't want to cancel it. DBZ, yes. In fact, my entire background, lock screen, everything on my phone is literally Vegeta." And there's a reason. There's a reason it is Vegeta, and I'm going to go into detail on that here in a minute. So, but yeah, the reason behind it is because Netflix wanted to charge the Jim Henson Company more money than what they were contracted to for the full 3 seasons. They said that they lost money due to the viewers, and they're like, "What are you talking about? We have literally more viewers than the Dark Crystal movie has ever had, even on repeat watches. What are you talking about? You're going to sit there and tell me that a show that's been out for a year has less ratings than the movie it's based off of that's been out for 30 years?" They're like, "Yeah." They went back, they did a study, they found out that no, that is not true. They actually had more viewers than the movie, showed it to Netflix, and Netflix canceled their contract. But so the reason why I have Vegeta as my lock screen. So back whenever I was working in a factory, somebody saw that I was really into Dragon Ball Z because I'd watched the abridged on my lunch breaks. And we got to talking, became really good friends. And he found out that I was a major fan of Dragon Ball Z, just like he is. So, like I said, we started talking, we started hanging out more. And this is back whenever the abridged was still live. Like it was still being aired, it was still being made. I think this was like right before Royal Ego, or not Royal Ego, uh, Royal Blue Vegeta, so Super Evolution Vegeta, and Ultra Instinct Goku was revealed to the public. We were sitting there and we were just talking, and we were just really just bullshitting around. And it was a weekend. We had nothing better to do. Everything was done. And he looks at me and goes, "Hey, if I were to be any Dragon Ball Z character, who would I be?" And I sat there for a minute. I told him, and I gave him, it was either Trunks or Gohan, just because of his personality. Like he's got a kind heart, but the fact that you say the wrong thing, you're gonna snap. And he's like, "Okay, I can see that." I'm like, "Okay, so who would you give me?" Not missing a beat, he goes, "Vegeta." I was like, "Why Vegeta?" He's like, "You literally threw somebody against a wall for cursing your girlfriend's name." Now, this wasn't Mama Scarecrow at the time, but I would do the same thing for her. I was dating a girl because this was like almost 10 years ago. God, I'm old. So what ended up happening was I was dating this girl. We had just started dating. And it turns out one of her old friends with benefits worked with me. And I let bygones be bygones. Well, then he decided to run his mouth. I mean, I'll stand up. Now, this is from like 10 years of eating junk food. So, mind you, I was a lot skinnier back then. I'm still fairly skinny. but I am a lot of muscle as well. And this was a tall guy, a beefy guy. I picked him up and threw him against the wall. And the look on his face went from, oh, ha, 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 I got this guy good, to, oh, crap, I should not mess with him. But yes, it was a that's my Bulma moment. And I was like, is that the only reason? He goes, no, you're pretty egotistical. I'm like, wow, thanks. He's like, you're welcome. I was like, I was being sarcastic. He's like, I wasn't. I was like, okay. But no, I mean, there's a lot that I would do. Like, I think when me and Mama Scarecrow first started dating, one of the first things I sent her was actually a video that had popped up for the first time for me. Because I listen to a lot of AMVs. For those of you that don't know what that is, it's a terminology for a music video where it's an anime playing in the background. And then with it playing in the background, what ends up happening is they got a song playing. So I don't even remember what song it was, but it was literally just the Beerus fighting Vegeta because of Vegeta yelling, that's my Bulma scene. Am I still friends with him? Friend is a strong word. I will leave it at that. I don't really have friends, if that makes sense. More so, I have acquaintances. With being a father, I really don't got time to go out and party and do everything like that like I used to. And that's what a lot of my friends still want to do. They want to go out, they want to party. And I had one person actually sit there and tell me that I was letting them down because I didn't show up to the wedding that they didn't tell me they were having. So I pretty much stay to myself now. Like what I'm doing here, this is literally me. Yeah, I had a friend that I was friends with for over 10 years. Look me in the eyes and outright tell me to never call him again, never speak to him again, never converse with him again because I didn't show up to his wedding. A wedding he never told me about. Like, the easiest way I can explain being a quote-unquote friend with me, I was the, hey, are you okay guy? Hey, do you need help guy? Hey, is everything good? Always reaching out, making sure everyone was copacetic. I've now become the, okay, you want to talk to me, you reach me first guy. I got too much going on in life to have to worry about you when I have to worry about me. And literally, I ain't even at the top of my list. Literally, it goes my son, my wife, my family, my pets, my work, my business, and those up between my business and my wife are interchangeable. My wife, my kid are my top priority. And then after all that, it's me. Like I've said it before, I'll say it again. I could get notice that I will be terminated. And I'll work a way to keep making money. But the moment that I find out that, hey, we might be homeless if I don't sit here and sacrifice something for myself, I'm going living out in my car. I'll let them stay in the house. I'll give them all my money every paycheck. I'll stay in my car. I'll pay the bills that I can. I'll make sure that everyone is taken care of. But I'm not going to sit there and let my family go without. I would rather go without than let them. In fact, I have been going without. I do not remember the last time I went to a doctor. I needed to go. My teeth are so bad. I actually need all of my bottoms and then at least my top wisdom teeth taken out. And that's not from not doing dental care or anything like that. That's just from genetics. And yeah, I mean, everybody does need to start taking care of themselves better. I will agree with you on that. But to me, I got other priorities. But I mean, that's also just how I was raised, too, though. Are you referring to the business or are you referring to work? The business, I love what I do. Work, to an extent. And here's what I mean by to an extent. I love what my job actually entails. What I do not love is when a vendor of my work begins to try and pull a fast one on us and refuses to answer any questions that me, my supervisor, and others have asked them. Oh, that pop felt good. Oh. Now, for those joining, if you see me looking over here, I'm just looking at a YouTube, making sure nobody's got any comments that need to be answered. Do I watch Invincible? I've watched the first season, or at least the first couple of episodes within the first season. I know the gist of what happens. I'm curious on if they are going to go fully with the comic, because I know there is a scene in the show where if they actually show that, I don't know if they legally can. I need to start. It is the scene where Mark gets essayed, and ends up getting a Veltramite impregnated. Like I said, I haven't seen past like the first couple episodes of season 1. I just don't have a lot of time to. I believe so. Names I am horrible with unless like I'm fully invested in the show. Um, I had a feeling they would. Um, they've changed a couple things. That's even worse. Gotcha. I mean, it's expected in that. It's expected in that show. Like, it's a dark show. I'm not going to sit there and deny that. The source material is dark. Denying that fact is like denying that you need oxygen to breathe. Well, I love it too. I'm all for dark shows and movies. Not a big fan of a lot of the changes the boys have made. Like Five Nights at Freddy's. I'm not a fan of Five Nights at Freddy's. When I say dark, I mean more of like I'm meaning more like mental challenges. To me, Five Nights at Freddy's isn't like a mental challenge. It's like a child's version of Saw. Now, my son, you just heard him run by. He's only 3 years old. He found some show. And it's a show he usually watches. And so it's something that we're like, oh, okay. But he found a show where they are playing a live action Hello Neighbor. Where I guess they've watched their dad play it. It's like the dad's the neighbor running around trying to find them while they sneak around the house. And like he woke me and goes, Dad, I want to watch Hello Neighbor. I'm like, how do you know about Hello Neighbor? And he goes, it's on my tablet. I'm like, it ain't. My wife woke up and she's like, what's so bad about Hello Neighbor? I'm like, that is a dark game. It's on his tablet. It 100% is on his tablet because that's where he watches YouTube. He doesn't watch it anywhere else. Danny, thank you for following us. And thank you for joining. Oh, yeah. Like, don't get me wrong. I like that these video games, these more obscure video games, are getting these more obscure. What was I gonna say? So how was I gonna say? So these more obscure video games. Are showing up in media, like all across the board. Like we got the Five Nights at Freddy movie that came out last year before last. We're getting the sequel this year. Like there's a lot that I like that they're doing, but there's also a lot that I think that they could be like, okay, let's bring in the reins a little bit. Yeah, I think that's especially if you're watching on Disney Plus. I think that is a horrible marketing decision. I noticed that too. That several like Disney Junior shows from when we were kids, PB and J Otter being one of them, Bear in the Big Blue House on Disney Plus, they will only show up for some reason on non-children guided accounts. So what is a children guided account for those that don't have Disney Plus? It is an account that it purposely does not limit what they can watch. In other words, once you hit this button, anything PG-13 on up gets taken away, essentially. And I noticed that PB&J Otter shows up on mine, but not my kid's account. And I'm like, that's a little weird. You'd think that you'd want PB&J Otter, a children's show, to show up on a children's version. Oh, don't get me started on Roblox. I've literally gone to every profile I can that mentions Roblox and blocked them across all of our accounts. The reason I did that. So, there are... How do I word this? There are people using Roblox to befriend children. And one of the ways they're befriending children is making, and this is on both YouTube Kids and on YouTube, just basic YouTube. They are revealing 10-minute videos of Roblox. And then the rest of the video is adult content. And when I say adult content, I am literally meaning that you can probably find this on some sort of hub, if you catch my drift. And a lot of it is of themselves. So what's happening is people are using these accounts. They're looking at the accounts that are... This is the whole reason why YouTube actually made it to where if you have a YouTube account, you can no longer see who is following you at all. It will only show you the amount of subscribers. Essentially what was happening was they were going on YouTube, going through their followers list, and when you click on an account for a follower, it will show you before they remove that option, it would show you their email account. Well, then you'd cross-reference that with those that are actually playing Roblox. And people were trafficking that way. So I've outright banned all Roblox material. Even when we go to my family's house and my nieces are playing it, I don't let them near them. It's the exact reason why Roblox is actually being sued and why there's talks of them making their own adult-based servers where you have to show ID to even access. But the issue with that is yeah, and I mean I'm not bashing anybody that is playing the game and who actually does play the game for what it's meant to do. But I don't trust anybody. Like once that started going out, no, my kids' safety comes first. And for those that can read and can write and can access it, what they were doing as well was they were putting their username and everything in these videos and having the kids go and play with them on Roblox. And that's how a lot of different things were going down, if you catch my drift. There's one TikToker here that I really want to actually see, join my lives, everything like that, because he's 100% right. He makes these shirts that says, yeah, and that's the exact reason why they're wanting 18 and older servers to prevent that. There's also full-on talks of banning anybody under the age of, or banning anybody, it was either banning anybody under or over. I want to say it was over at first, but then that got shut down because of needing an ID to purchase certain things. But it was originally like over the age of 13, you were going to be instantly banned from playing. And now it's like they're talking about banning anybody under the age of 13. But these talks have been in place for years and nothing's ever been done. That is one reason why I don't trust the video game industry anymore either. I don't trust any industry actually anymore. I mean, look at Disney, look at Nickelodeon. I mean, it's kind of messed up that the only one that we have from our childhood that has not a single criminal case is Cartoon Network. And why is that? Because they were all adults. They were all voice actors. I don't think there's a single live action Cartoon Network show. And like, if anybody can correct me on that, I will listen to that, but I don't remember any of them. But yeah, I didn't even know about the Cole Sprouse thing until they started to light everyone up because of Dan Schneider. That threw me for a loop. I had no clue. But I mean, it just goes to show that there's not a lot that you can trust no more, and it's scary. Nate, not much, man. Man, just painting up some Iron Man, waiting on this dice tray to cure. And for these dice to cure for this commission, I gotta get this commission going. Who do I main on Marvel Rivals? I main Penny or Punisher. I did. I will not be getting involved in why. Just know I did. There is a lot of issues that I had with stuff going on in there. And I'm just going to leave it at that. It was to the point where I nearly said I am no longer going to affiliate myself with anybody in the club. That's how bad it got. I'll leave it at that. And now you know me, I can take a joke. I mean, we've sat there, we've bantered back and forth, we've poked fun at each other quite a lot. I can't remember who it was. It was either you or it might have been Brody. They made a joke about my mom, and I said, "Well, hey, when I get home, I will show you her urn." And then it went silent because you guys were laughing at how dark that was. But I can take a joke. What I can't take is hypocrisy. I'm all for respecting others, but when you're going to allow somebody to do one thing, but then tell another person, "Oh no, you can't do that. You can't say that. You can't do any of that." When somebody that is a higher level of authority than you has done that, I've witnessed it. I've witnessed you do it. I've witnessed others do it. But I get called out for it. It's similar to why I left. Big Nerds. I will leave it at that. If you are in Big Nerds, you'll know why I left there. Well, that's the thing. It's not a swear. So you know exactly why I left. So it is legitimately not a swear. For anybody that thinks that crap is a swear, that is, in my opinion, borderline. I'm going to go as far as to say it's narcissistic, because it felt like a power trip, a control. Like somebody was losing control in the power they had, so they said, "Oh well, no, I'm just going to say it's this," and then just have him freak out. But then I show proof that others have said it, including owners and admins, but I'm the bad guy. It didn't make sense to me. So instead of arguing about it, I left. But there's a difference. There's literally a difference between me going there and saying this is some bullshit, and me just looking and going, man, that's some bullcrap. One is showing restraint. One isn't. One is, and here's the biggest problem I have with that. It's the same reason I left Big Nerds. There was not a single rule in that server that said no cursing. Not a single one. Now, I tried to not curse. But it's the principle of you're going to sit there and tell me not to curse when, one, I'm not cursing. Two, when I'm just trying to have fun, paint. And I notice that the same people that are sitting there telling me not to curse and getting on my back every few days are the same people that have a problem with me and I've openly heard in lives when I didn't fully join say, I don't like him. So I stopped supporting them. Like, I'm not going to waste my time and see that's that power trip I'm telling you about. Like, what are you going to do? You're going to sit there and tell me that there's literally no dictionary that does not have both definitions or spelling. For those that are wondering what we're talking about, me and Nate Paints were in a hobby club together, and I left it. I felt that the club was a little too. I wouldn't even say the club. It was literally about. Oh, that's the little scarecrow. I kept telling you guys that I have an evil child, and none of y'all would believe me. The worst part is he's playing with Sesame Street characters more than likely. Where'd my D4 go? Oh, it's right there. You have a good one too. Yeah, essentially, me and him were in a club together, and I've openly said it multiple times. They're against a lot of people for being themselves. Trying to see who's still in here. Boss man, thank you for joining us. Turn to Dust, thank you for staying with us. But no, I mean, it irritates me when people try to throw power around. Hopefully, this resin is cured enough soon. Still not. Long story short, the dice that I made yesterday, I had to go and add a little bit more this morning because it did not cure properly. Lillian Brown, thank you for joining us. D, thank you for joining us. Curse Moomin, thank you for joining us. Koala, thank you for joining us. Please ignore a little scarecrow in the background laughing maniacally. He's just having a good time. We are working on Iron Man. Not sure what mark I want to make him. Could just splash some black on the face. Mama Scarecrow, thank you for joining us. Okay. Oh, I need a break. Oh. So this is how he's turning out. So far, so good. I think we got some good little areas for some gold trimming to go on. essentially what I'm doing right now is I'm just pulling it apart, trying to loosen it up just in case we can pull it. But it does not look like we can. Okay, I need to check the consistency over here. Probably about another hour or two, and we should be good to go. Because I mean, we're still in like a very honey-like substance, very sticky, very tacky. Oh. Phew. Okay, so which gold do you think I should use for Iron Man? I'll leave those there while I look for. That might be my bronze. Yep, that's my weapon bronze. So where is my plate mail? There's my gunmetal, iron. Where did my plate mail go off that I knew I had up there? I only have so many black. There it is. Peak this, bro. Thank you for joining us. And you left. I'm going to keep going for about another hour, maybe now another hour and a half. Sooner or later, I'm going to have to cook dinner. I think I'm going to just cook some bacon for dinner, do some breakfast for dinner. What do you think of that? Because remember, this is supposed to be like tabletop ready. It's not going to be 1-to-1. Oh my gosh, that is like the perfect mini ever. This is just supposed to be paint on mini. Twin Porch Trailer, thank you for joining us. I don't know whether I need to be worried or not with how Little Scarecrow's talking right now. Dean, thank you for joining us. We are painting up Iron Man. Painted Thumbs, thank you for joining us. This is what we got going so far. This one's just going to be tabletop ready. It's not supposed to be like, oh, ready with like every little bit and highlighted and high detail and UV resin. No, this is for a game that my kid is not even going to play yet because he can't even understand the rules. I barely can understand the rules. But I do want to mention we have set a price point for the Skull of Creativity, and it is on our website. This is going to be $35. Dice trays, this size, this is our small, are going to start at $26 or $25, one of the two. I can't remember if I have 5 or 6. I'll have to double check that. And this is already on the website as well. Like, we already got these prices posted. Finished project example would be like right here. So you got a full hand with, you got a good about half an inch lip right there. Inch, half an inch, one or two. This one wasn't cured all the way, but it's got a little bend, not much though. You don't want to just pressure, like full force it. The reason why it also bends with this one is, as you can see, like the mica powder was not properly mixed. Then we have the sights up from that being $30. Yeah. So that was it. It was 25, then 30. And then our large is going to be 40. That's our most expensive item that we have to date. Wayward Inquisition, thank you for joining us. We are painting up Iron Man while we wait for a dice box to cure. Bear with me for a second. Did not want that to be laid down that way. Not a dice box, a dice set. So we're going to let this dice set cure. Should be done soon. And then we can pull it and actually get in. Actually, hang on. Yeah, I can at least get the lid off. We're trying to get it inked, sanded and inked by the end of tonight because it needs to go out by Tuesday. And the reason it needs to go out by Tuesday is because that's when I'm meeting the owner of it to give it to him. Sky Ty, thank you for joining the live and thank you for the likes. We did do a second Skull of Creativity. Now these do go for $35 on our website. Now the cool thing about these, bear with me, I almost did that the wrong way. My hand's all sticky and I got it all over my brush. I just spray some isopropyl on it to fix that real quick. Thank you. We have chosen a price range. This is going to be $30. Keep saying 35. It's $30 on our website. I love this coloring as well. It makes me think of a Death Eater's mask from Order of the Phoenix. Like I get a lot of Lucius Malfoy vibes from that. That's on our website. Our dice trays are now on our website as well. They start at $25 for the small ones like this. And then they move up to $30 for the size up. And then the size after that is $40. The reason why that's a $10 jump is it's a lot bigger. So we sell our dice in 3 different sets. So we have, first and foremost, so let me go grab some finished sets and show off what I mean. So first we have dice with inserts. So that's anything that may have an insert, such as, where is it? I know there's one in here. Oh, it's right there. It's just really hard to see. Let me grab a different one. This one would be easier to see. I know where it is exactly on that. Such as our one ring to rule them all. Or our ones with the eyeballs in them. Sugar skulls. If you want an insert, and that includes liquid core, we're still working on getting liquid core just right before we start launching them. That is going to be $26, and those are coming with a dice bag. So that's just a standard set. If you want it in a dice box, that is going to be $30. Let me double check. It's on our website. Let me double check. Painting.co.card. Go down to dice. Okay. So Yes, 26 per set for dice with inserts. And then it is $30 per set if you want them in a non-magnetized dice box. So for example, this one's magnetized. And when I magnetize them to where they can only go a certain way. This way you're not slamming your fingers in there. And then it is 35 with a magnetized dice box. Now I got two different molds that can do magnetized. I got a pill bottle one, and I have that. All my other dice boxes cannot be magnetized at this time. That includes the cauldron, that includes the coffin, the dragon's nest, and the big one. Now, if you want just a regular dice without any inserts, such as our nebula, that goes for $18 starting. So it was 18, then 26 with a dice box, and then 31 for a magnetized dice box. Now here's the kicker, or here's the catch really. The cauldron, the coffin, the big one, the dragon's nest, and the cup of destiny, those all are sold separately. I do want to mention that. So you can still buy a big one with a dice set, but you're paying for the set as well instead of built in. The reason being is because all three of those, and the honey pot, forgot the honey pot. All three of those are, I'm not going to say expensive to make, but they do take up a lot of resin to make. Now, once we get our commissioned dice masters, the price will change. We'll still have those prices up on our website, but we will also be including our commission dice that have our logo on it. Those are going to start at $30. Now you might be wondering, well, why am I paying $30 if I can pay $18 for the same creator? Well, that's a great question. With my $18 dice set, you're getting it from a Amazon mold. I mean, it's going to be exactly the same as everyone else's. With my set, you're going to get not only the D4 you want, so either the prismatic, the barrel, or the traditional caltrop. You'll also get a D20 with my logo on it. All the numbering matches my style of Gothic horror. And then you also will get a coin with every order that has a simplified version of our logo on it as well. Now we also have the Gunslinger. The Gunslinger only sells for $24. It comes with the dice box as well as all the dice for it. They're just bullet-shaped dice, essentially. We used to sell them at 20 plus or 20 and 24, but I was like, you know what? Let's cut the middleman out. I'm already making the dice. I might as well make the dice box as well. But, I mean, that's pretty much it. Our dice start at 18 and can go up to $35 per set. And then once we get our dice masters, those can go up to $40. like the commission I'm doing right now that I'm waiting for it to be finalized and finished. That's a $31 commission. Now, one thing I want everyone to realize is that all of our commissions all of our pricing does not include shipping and handling. Shipping and handling is an estimated estimated $11 in addition to all orders. So if you're wanting dice commissioned by me, or you're wanting a dice box, like a specific dice box, let me know. Like I said, the Skull of Creativity we're going to sell at $30. The reason why we're selling them at $30 is because it doesn't take a lot of resin, but at the same time, it has a lot of uses. I can use this as a water bowl for my paints. I can use this as a paint brush holder. I can use this. I mean, right there, that's like the perfect waiting for the what's it called? It's on the tip of my tongue. Conditioner to dry. Like, there's a lot of uses for this, and not a lot of people realize. Let's see who else still here. So I'm just cleaning this brush real quick so that it still has a nice fine tip. And we're going to go into a more messier brush because we're going to start doing the gold bits. We got all the blue done. Now, turn to dust. What gold do you think I should use? Okay, I'm just going to use this bright gold then. Since we're not getting any answers, I might as well just pick. Okay. I'm going to dig into this one. Okay. This is how we got so far. Jamal, thank you for joining us. We're painting up Iron Man right now. Actually, let's cover that whole. Yeah, just cover that whole thing up with red. I like how that looks better that way. We're getting there, people. There is Iron Man fully done. Now I have to decide on who to paint next. I should say. Because we have Black Widow, we have Doctor Strange, we have Captain America. What's that on the ground? Captain Marvel, Taskmaster, Spider-Man, Ultron, Ant-Man left to do. Oh, I gotta decide on who I want to do next. XXX, thanks for joining us again. We just finished painting up Iron Man. And now we gotta decide on who we want to do next. Oh, we have Spider-Man, we have Captain America, Taskmaster, we have Captain Marvel, we have Ultron, Ant-Man, Stephen Strange, Black Widow. That's all we have left. Let me see if I can pull at least the flashing off. Because this is a play. Ooh, nope. Still not able to pull the flashing off that one. That one almost pulled the whole D. What's that? It's not the D20. D20's up here. Yeah, D20 almost came out too, though. That's weird that like all the dice on this one are wanting to come out as if they were squishy dice when they aren't supposed to be. The only one that actually decided to stay inside was actually the D12. The D12. So I'm going to see if I can pull this lid off. Because this lid... Come on, get off. Get off my fingers. This lid... Whoa, that almost made a huge mess. Bear with me for a second. Isopropyl alcohol spritz to loosen that up. A little bit of napkin to dry my hand off. This set was done. It just, there were some voids. And we had to, oh yeah, that's not even, nope. Because that's a commission set. I'm not wanting to damage that. If it was a play set, yeah. I got no problem messing around with something that I'm actually not selling. That, however, no. Okay, so let's see what this is. Let's do some inking. Oh, this was our Petri pour. Excuse me. So I actually already planned on what I was going to do these ones in. These ones were going to be gold. So it's actually a good thing we already had gold on here. Okay. How was everybody's weekend? There is one. We're fully into. Where did us? Oh, they're there. I do want to do more Petri pours. I love doing them. Because I've learned a lot with them too. But one thing I'm still trying to figure out is why the D20 didn't pull any of the alcoholing down. Like it looks like it tried to, but then said, nah, I'm not going to. But that gold on clear does look nice. Hold on, bud. What's up?
Good morning.
I think you went downstairs. What's wrong? Hang on, you can't come in. What's wrong? What's wrong? Okay, I'm gonna have to end the live here, everyone. Thank you for joining. Bye.